So 30 days of April, 30 videos, 30 vitality secrets. Some of you know that for about 6 years I've been helping people reverse all kinds of chronic illness by getting to the underlying cause. And I have a big focus on chronic inflammation. This started off all with nutrition back in 2015, or even before that, but mainly from 2015. But it's gone much more into the mind-body connection, releasing trapped emotions and reducing exposure to all kinds of toxins, but it's gone much deeper than nutrition. And I'm going to be sharing some of this stuff with you over the next 30 days. So I actually cover the physical, mental, emotional, and energetic pillars of vitality to help people to heal themselves. Today, I want to talk to you about chronic inflammation. But before I do that, I want to just share my story because without it, it doesn't really give much meaning and you may not know who I am. So, like many people in the holistic space and the healing space, I come with my own story of healing. And not just my own story, but also my father. He actually was one of my main inspirations behind what I'm doing right now. So, I had pretty bad eczema for about 30 years, and I was always given the same treatments, which appeared at the time to work, but it would always come back. And what I later learned in the last 6 or 7 years is those treatments are really quite harmful. I was provided or prescribed steroid creams, antibiotics, which harm the gut, and they can harm the gut and cause imbalance. And it can take a long time to recover from even one course of antibiotics. But the steroid creams have left pigmentation on my skin, and also these prescription moisturizers, which really aren't great news. They're full of all nasty ingredients which shouldn't be put on the skin. The skin is a semi-permeable membrane, and we absorb anything into it that we put on it. So what I've realized is that all of these treatments, whilst they appeared to work short term, it always come back. So something was wrong, something was amiss. And I actually started questioning this in my teenage years. I was around 15 years old, and I started getting very curious about why I was always given these treatments. And I won't go into that just yet, but that's kind of my story. But in my early 30s, around that time, my father suffered a stroke, and it was that actually triggered me to explore why he suffered this stroke. I had this kind of inner knowing in my heart. You know, we have this kind of innate intelligence, and it just kind of came from within me that his stroke was avoidable. And I went on this kind of mission, if you like, this quest to figure out what this underlying condition was, because before his stroke, he was diagnosed with something called chronic inflammation, or he was told he had that. And I kept on seeing this word everywhere in books I was reading, documentaries I was watching, interviews I was watching. It was everywhere. And I soon discovered it's the underlying cause of almost every chronic illness and what we now know as these comorbidities or pre-existing conditions. So I wanted to find out what this was about, and I quickly discovered that his stroke was avoidable, and had he been provided with the appropriate information, maybe it was avoidable. And at the same time, I discovered that my eczema that I had for 30 years was also a result of this same underlying cause. So I changed my environment in my body. Basically, I changed my eating habits, my lifestyle habits, my thoughts, my emotions, got more kind of conscious of them and my habits, and it went away, and very quickly. And I can't say it's cured, because if I don't listen to my own advice and my body gets toxic for whatever reason, it can come back. So I see eczema as a symptom of an underlying cause, just like any other chronic illness. I was actually able to reverse my own eczema and help other people to do the same thing. So I've helped people reverse things like various skin conditions like that, and psoriasis and IBS, type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, arthritis and gout, low testosterone in men. What is chronic inflammation? In its simple form, it is a level of toxicity in the body, and it's actually, inflammation happens when your immune system perceives that there is some kind of an attack on the body. There is some kind of physical threat or a perceived threat on the body. It's a very healthy immune response. If we didn't have it, we would die. I like to simplify things. I'm often told that one of my strengths is simplifying things, and this is one thing I want to do with you now. If you can actually describe what inflammation is to other people, then you'll be able to help other people as well. In fact, I did a talk at UCLA a few years ago, and I asked the audience if they knew what chronic inflammation is. I was like, put your hand up if you know what chronic inflammation is. And no one put their hands up, and I said, okay, put your hands up if you've heard of chronic inflammation, and everyone put their hands up. So everyone's heard of it. Who knows what it is? In simple form, it's the immune system perceiving there is some kind of an attack on the body. So something enters the body that the body doesn't recognize, and it goes into a state of defense. It's like something alien, something that's not in alignment with the nature codes, if you like, enters the body, and the body perceives it as some kind of threat. So it's a very intelligent response. We are very, very intelligent human beings, or beings, and it's a very healthy immune response. If we didn't have it, we would die. But when this happens again and again and again and again, then we have lots of chronic symptoms that we often regard as illnesses. So that is what it is. It is your immune system protecting you from foreign or alien intruders. I call them alien intruders, things that don't belong in the body. And that can be your food, that can be environment, that could be some kind of toxin in the body, and it could be anything. So when I work with my clients, we kind of go through almost like a checklist to see where the toxins are coming from. So that's a snippet of what chronic inflammation is. One thing I was going to say is there is a test. If you don't know if you have inflammation, you can have a test called C-reactive protein. There are many, but one is, it's actually high sensitivity C-reactive protein. And if your markers are elevated, then you can bring them down and just watch your symptoms go away. What I've come to realize is when you get to the underlying cause of the chronic inflammation, you can reverse so many illnesses. And I really believe the body's ability to heal itself is greater than we have ever been allowed to believe. And we are way more resilient than we have ever been allowed to believe. We have incredibly strong immune systems. So that is what I'd like to leave you with. Look out for tomorrow, which is all going to be about cell health and what fuels the body at the cellular level. This is basic cell biology. Don't let the term scare you, but it's very, very useful to know this, because if we understand the body at the cellular level, so much easier to address the full body. So that's going to conclude day one. Look out for tomorrow, which is going to be about understanding the body at the cellular level and your biological mini-me's. Thank you for watching. Look out for day two.